Good morning and welcome to Dobutsu Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple. Just need to check the live streams. And it does look like we are live. Good morning, Father Robert Monroe. So good to see you here today. Good morning, Jackie. So good to see you. So we'll get started with our updates. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day. We had sun the last 2 days. Really good for the solar. Very muddy up here, but at least we had the sun coming out. And we're not expecting rain again until Wednesday. Our pond across the road here is completely full, so that's really good to see. I'm sure that's really good for the wildlife. Because I've had solar, I've been able to get my pond filter up and running again. Good morning, Tani. Good morning, Yolanda. So good to see you. All the animals have been fed this morning. I'm still working on getting my car repaired. That's gonna be expensive and a big job, but hopefully I can get that going here. Yeah, because of the rain, not much updates. We've just been trying to get by. Everybody seems to be doing well this morning. Everybody's really liking the sun. So very beautiful day. Oh, good morning, Jess. So good to see you. I had to travel this last week. Spent a couple days in Los Angeles helping a good friend of mine repair their car, and Jess was able to stay here for a couple days, help out with the animals. So I'm very grateful to her. Good morning, Martin. So good to see you. Thank you for joining us live. We'll go through the updates of our dear residents here. Everybody has been fed this morning. Got that done early. We have Breve, Grave, Amanda, and Renee the ducks. I can see them right there. They're drinking some water right now. Lucy the dog is wandering about. She's already went out, had her pee, ate breakfast already, so she's doing really good. The goats, Rob, Matt, and Philip down the hill are doing really well. I saw them up on the top of the hill the other day, kind of enjoying their goat family. Our turkeys, Priya and Harriet, they're doing really well. They're actually using their turkey shelter, which I'm really happy to see. Finally, it took a while, but now they're using it. Our roosters, Jax over there is doing well. A little underweight, so we've been giving him a little bit more food, trying to get his weight back up. He's looking a little bit better. Jimmy, who has no problem with his weight, is doing really well, and we've kind of cut his food back down a little bit. Wendy the guinea fowl, she's doing really well. And then we have our roosters in the main aviary, Sabrina May, Brad, Hard One, Mr. Black, Elton, Ed Magnus, who are all doing really well. And then we have the hens in the main aviary, Glennis, Gwen, Alice, Melissa, Melinda, Sunny, Dora, and Daniela, all doing really well. My dear rat friends inside the house, they're doing good. Yamabushi and Hasu. And then our dove friend in there, you guys heard last week. Sequoia is doing really well. Oh, good morning, Neil, and good morning, Pauline. Don't want to miss that. Thank you for joining live. And then we have the Cornwall Corner over there. They're doing really well. Poppy, Aster, Ivy, Azalea, Peony, Cynthia, Lotus, Edward, Magnolia, Hazel, Sage, Marigold, Camilla, Hydrangea, Holly, and Zinnia. Got their breakfast, doing really well. Their area is super muddy, so I'm going to have to do some mud cleanup today. Um, so we'll be working on that. Our pigeons, FP, Champagne, Appletini, Tulin, Sasha, Yo-Yo, Petey, Ricky, Spencer, Shambles, Beluga, Bath, Pee-wee, Cascade, Augustus, Frankie, Rufus, Harper, Elliot, Snickers, Boba, Kismet, Farah, Angus, Pandora, Jones, Sin, Harriet, Lago, Fred, Tramonto, Halo, Vin, Capone, Thimble, Percy, Pacino, Lacey, and Sasha 2 are all doing really well. Gonna need to clean out the pigeon area today. It becomes very difficult to clean in the rain because it just floods that area. So I gotta get all the water out first and need to clean the pigeon area today. So that's on my list of things to do. Always busy here at the sanctuary. Always appreciative of folks who are able to come down and volunteer. Folks like Jess and Rocky have been our only volunteers this year, but I'm very grateful to them for coming down and helping. Would love to see more people, especially if you're local. Please come out and lend a hand. So those are the updates on all of our residents. And good morning to Jackie on YouTube. Jackie always watches both on YouTube and Facebook. Really helps our algorithm, so I really appreciate that. Oh, good morning, Chapman Chen. So good to see you. And good morning, D. Ray Owens. So good to see you as well. Thank you for joining live. I'm not sure I've seen you here before, at least maybe not commenting. Maybe you've watched in the past. But we'll get started with the prayers, mantras, sutras. As always, dedicated to our dear animal friends, both our companion animal friends and our wild animal friends who can hear it nearby. And I also want to remind folks to, practice with the intention to send these prayers and mantras and sutras to our dear animal friends who may be far away, living in factory farms or exploited in circuses or in laboratories. Our dear fish friends in the sea. Just all of our dear animal friends across this planet. We'll start with the recitation of the Great Heart of Wisdom Sutra, page 4 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Oh, I gotta get Lucy. She somehow got out. Lucy, I don't know how you're doing that, but you need to not. I know. Silly. One of these days I'll figure it out. Lucy has figured out how to escape the yard, and I have not figured it out yet because all the easy ways I thought that she would be able to get out, I have blocked. So I'm gonna have to try to get her to show me someday. Maka hanya haramita shinyo kanji zai bosatsu gyojin hanya haramita jiso kengo onkai ku doi saiku yakusha rishi shiki fuku kufu shiki shiki zoku ze kuku zoku ze shiki ju sogyo shiki yaku bunyo ze shari shi ze shoho kuso fusho fumetsu fuku fujo fuzo fugen ze koku kumu shiki muju sogyo shiki mugen ni bizetsu shin ni mu shiki shoko mi soku ho mugen kai nai shi mu ishiki kai mu mu myo yaku mu mu myo jin nai shi mu ro shi yaku mu ro shi jin mu kushu metsu do mu chi yaku mu tokui mu sho tokko bodai sat dai hunya haramita koshin mukege mukege komu kufu unri sai tendo muso kugyo nehan sanze shobutsu e hanya haramita kotoku wa nokutara sanmyaku sanbodai kochi hanya haramita zedai shinshu zedai myoshu ze mujo shu ze mutodo shu no jo isei ku shinjitsu fu koko zetsu hanya haramita shuzoku zetsu shuwatsu gyate gyate hara gyate hara so gyate boji sowaka hanya shingyo 願わくはこの功徳をもってあまねく一切に及ぼし、我ら投資者富な友の仏道、Animal Liberation の上善ことを、地方三子、佛子孙菩萨，佛子孫菩薩，摩诃薩摩诃補者ホロミ。 Oh, good morning, Maya. So good to see you. Thank you for joining live. And yes, the roosters are very happy this morning, Yolanda. They're quite vocal. Makes me very happy to hear them. We'll now recite the refuge prayer in Tibetan and then in English, page 8 of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer book. Sangye chodan tsuki chanam la janju paduk tati gyab suchi. Taki jinzo gype sonam ki drola pandra sangye juparsho. The Buddha, Dharma, and excellent assembly of the Sangha. Until I attain enlightenment in these, I take refuge. By my practice of the six perfections, may all sentient beings attain the state of Buddhahood. We now recite the four great Bodhisattva vows in Japanese and then in English. Shigi Segan. Shujo Muhen Segando. Ono Mujin Segandan. Homon Muryo Segangak. Potsudo Mujo Seganjo. However numerous sentient beings, I vow to enlighten them all. However inexhaustible my delusions, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the dharmas, I vow to master them all. However endlessly enlightened way, I vow to follow it fully. The ducks are swimming in the pond. Beautiful sound. We now recite the 6 vows to our dear animal friends, page 10 of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer book. However numerous my dear animal friends, I vow to liberate them all. However diverse the methods of animal liberation, I vow to support them all. However unheard their voices, I vow to speak out for them all. However painful and inexhaustible the methods of suffering, I vow to bear witness to them all. However infinite the cages and tanks, I vow to empty them all. However difficult animal liberation, I vow to achieve it completely. And we now recite the 100-syllable Vajrasattva purification mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Anupalaya Vajrasattva Te No Patishtha Dome Bhava Sutosho Me Bhava Suposho Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sava Sita Me Brayata Sava Karma Sita Me Chichum Sri Yam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sava Tattva Gata Vajrama Me Mucha Vajri Bhava Mahasamamya Safaha. Yes, Yolanda, it's very beautiful this morning, and thank you, Neil, for the comment with our 3 little ducks. There's 4 ducks, so, but yes, my little duck friends. This morning, I want to talk about preparedness. Yesterday, I went to the Animal Rights Center. As every week, I don't go every week, but every week there is a meetup where they serve brunch and we kind of get together and talk about things that are happening in the animal rights world. And they always give this little talk, and they gave this talk about kind of being prepared for things like natural disasters and worldwide pandemics, things like that, like the physical things that you would need to do, getting, supplies ready, maybe having backup water, what that looks like, um, how to help others, how you know, general preparedness. I think that anybody can find this information on the internet. Probably a lot better people to talk to you about it than I am, um, especially since my situation is unique. But I wanted to talk about preparedness in in the spiritual sense, in the mental sense, and in the sense of how we feel in our heart. In the face of natural disaster, worldwide pandemic, and even political upheaval. And as of yet, I do not like talking about political things on this particular service, as I don't think that my duck friends lean left or right. Um, Neither do my chicken friends or my pigeon friends or my cow friends. I don't think they have a political stance, and they probably feel one way or the other about particular laws that affect them directly. But I don't think that they have a strong leaning, and so therefore I choose to refrain as much as possible from being political. But the one reason is that I find it divisive, and in the face of a worldwide pandemic, in the face of political upheaval, where our way of life is threatened, in the face of a environmental disaster, um, your political standings won't have much of a bearing. And when we're in a mode of survival, I don't think it's going to matter too much whether you lean left or right. Oh my! I'm drinking coffee as as I always do. I love green tea. I don't know how to make it well, so I don't. But as I was saying, the preparedness on a spiritual level, I think it's important for us to first recognize that um, all beings inherently possess Buddha nature. And those of you tuning in, I think it's very simple for us to see the Buddha nature in Lucy, in Priya, my turkey friend, in Dora, my chicken friend, in Pandora, the pigeon friend. I think it's easy for us to see Buddha nature in them. But not always is it easy for us to see Buddha nature in maybe our boss or our coworker, or see the Buddha nature in the person who just cut us off on the freeway. And maybe it even will become more difficult when when resources become scarce and we feel the urge to fight for with our neighbors for resources. And this is where recognizing Buddha nature in all beings is really important, and should be foremost on our thoughts. And that goes for recognizing Buddha nature in I mentioned before our spider friends or our little cockroach friends, our tick friends, maybe the our animal friends that we find it harder to relate with, but seeing Buddha nature in them as well. I think this is important. So I think the three things that we need to have to be prepared for any sort of natural disaster, worldwide pandemic, for a political upheaval. Um, one is compassion, and that goes into recognizing all beings have Buddha nature. Compassion also extends to realizing that our neighbors might be suffering, that our dear animal friends might be suffering, the realization that all beings are suffering, and to have that empathy, to have compassion for all beings. So that's the first thing I think we need in our toolbox of preparedness for um, possible natural disaster, things like that. The second thing I think we need is love, right? To allow our own hearts to melt a little bit, to warm a little bit, um, to truly embody the idea of recognizing all beings with Buddha nature is really important so that we can extend that love to all beings. And the third thing, and I think this is especially because I talk about compassion and love all the time, but in face of um, ab- uh, adversity, in the face of obstructions, and in the face of not being able to possibly get the resources we need, this third thing is super important to have in our toolkit, and that is selflessness. And when I talk about selflessness, I don't mean, fasting every other day, fasting once a week. That may be good or bad for your health. I'm not even going to weigh in on that. That's not what selflessness is. And selflessness isn't doing without. In fact, selflessness is doing with. Selflessness is doing with the first two, love and compassion. Selflessness is in the very moment. What decisions do we make? And do we base those decisions on our own personal well being? Or do we base those decisions on the well being of others? Selflessness is important when the power is out and our neighbor is dependent on a ventilator and we have a backup battery available. We bring them that backup battery, and maybe our fridge won't be able to last as long, or maybe we don't have the right heating that we want to have in that moment. But my neighbor who's in desperate need is can survive. This is selflessness. Selflessness happens in the moment, right? I always talk about I don't care if you're vegan, but what are you going to have this morning for breakfast? Selflessness is choosing maybe to not eat animals and their byproducts. Selflessness is, protecting your neighbor in the moment. When you see them in danger, you do something to help them rather than only worry about your own survival. Selflessness might look like, okay, I have a plan. If I can get my dog friend into the car, I can get all the things that I need to get. What what can I live without so I can fit one more dog kennel and drive over to the shelter and pick up one more dog to get them to safety? During the fires here in LA, I saw a lot of selfless people go out and help animals and save animals, and this was a beautiful thing to do. And some people had the ability to do that, and that's great. And some people had the drive to do those kind of things, and that's great. But when I talk about selflessness, it's a it's a person whose house is being burned down in the moment, and they are able to save their family, they're able to save their dog, but they have to make a choice between saving their TV or saving the neighbor's parrot, and they choose to save their parrot. Selflessness, I think, is probably going to be one of the most important things that we have in our tool bag when faced with obstructions and adversity. Um, Selflessness, um, is you know maybe lending a helping hand to our neighbor who's done nothing but fight with us the whole year. Complains about my bushes, who, you know, is always loud and waking me up in the middle of the night. Um, but when the obstruction comes and their life is threatened, that we reach out that helping hand to them. I think this is um, how we can expect not only to help others survive, but to help ourselves survive. That inherently selflessness um, is a bit of a misnomer, right? If you recognize that all beings have Buddha nature, all beings suffer, and in fact, we are all interconnected in this way, and that their suffering, their release from suffering, is dependent on ourselves, or the suffering of ourselves is dependent on them, and that we can't have a release from suffering until all beings don't suffer. If we recognize this intrinsic value, that as long as somebody is experiencing injustice, as long as one person is experiencing exploitation, as long as somebody is experiencing suffering, then we too experience the same. Um, and so this is what I mean by selflessness is a misnomer. That in fact, if we care deeply for Lucy um, and her well-being, then I need to take care of Dora the chicken as well. And that when Lucy sees Dora happy and Dora sees Lucy happy, then that is how we overcome the obstruction. Yeah, Yolanda says that it seems that suffering is compounding in our times. And I want to point out that the Buddha, saw suffering all around. And that's what inspired him to find a path out of suffering. So even though maybe it seems that suffering um, is compounded in these times, I think that, well, one is we're more interconnected than ever. I think we're starting to realize how interconnected we are, and so therefore we experience more suffering. This, therefore, we feel that it's compounded, but in actuality, maybe we're just waking up a little bit more. Maybe we're starting to realize that there is a lot of suffering in this world, and that we need to do something about it. And that if we want to relieve that suffering, we need to relieve the suffering of others. And it's simple. Like, you don't need to end the war in Palestine today, and not by yourself. But if you help your neighbor, and they help their neighbor, and they help their neighbor, and they help their neighbor, and we spread this love and compassion through mutual aid, maybe we can affect the war in Gaza. So my point is that don't give up on a world that seems to be on fire. Don't give up on a world that seems to be experiencing compounded suffering, but rather take action to help somebody. And it could just be your neighbor. Help the little spider, you know, out of the cup of water. Um, Help a little bird who's in need. Um, and if you're feeling brave, go into a factory farm and take out a chicken. I honestly believe that that helping others is how we will um, heal this world, how we will um, relieve the suffering, um, relieve that compounding suffering that Yolanda so eloquently mentioned. Um, you know, we can stop the suffering around the world by taking one chicken out of a factory farm. Hope that message makes sense. And like I said, I don't like to get political on this particular service because this service is dedicated to our dear animal friends, and I still believe that our dear animal friends, um, if they have a political side, I don't know what it is. I know that they may have specific laws that they care about, but I don't know what their political values are, so I don't like to discuss it here. However, if somebody wants to reach out to me and probe my own personal political views, I'm happy to talk about politics. I actually enjoy it. It's just this service is not um, where we do that because this is dedicated to our dear animal friends. So that's my talk for today. I hope that made sense. I hope to hear more about it. Um, I appreciate all the comments and all the people who have tuned in live. And I do appreciate all the people who tune in later throughout the week, later on today. Those also help the algorithm a lot and kind of help our temple and the animals here indirectly. We just need to keep working hard to get this message out there for the benefit of all the residents here who are in need. We need to expand not only the spirit of the Animal Liberation Temple so that others take up this work, but we need to, directly help more animals here. We want to have more residents and things like that, but that only, unfortunately, we have monetary restrictions. But we will conclude today's service with the recitation of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer, the Animal Liberation Prayer, and the dedication of merit. And we will take a quick tour and visit some of our residents here. Page 12 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book, for those of you who are following with that. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are subject to unbearable pain in labs throughout the world, be free of all suffering. May alternatives to animal experimentation, vivisection, and dissection be implemented immediately. May bodhicitta, the quality of compassion that leads to enlightenment, fill the hearts of those who imprison them. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who suffer endless days, months, and years, locked in tiny cages unable to move, be filled with peace and calm. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are forcibly taken from their families, be reunited, and may all families be able to stay together. May the hearts of those who work in slaughterhouses, factory farms, and all industries exploit our dear animal friends be filled with bodhicitta, so the very thought of harm is purified. May they never kill again, and may the slaughterhouse lines, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends become immediately empty. May no animal be afraid or depressed. May their bodies be free of injuries, disease, and illness. May the mutilation of their bodies be forever ceased. May those who need homes or have been driven from them find shelter, plentiful food, and water. May there be liberation for those tortured for fur, entertainment, or who are hunted. May those who believe that they are superior to our brother and sister animals develop perfect equanimity, and may they realize in their hearts that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, the potential to be completely free of suffering, and that they are not ours to kill or exploit. May the billions of land and sea-dwelling sentient beings who are abused, exploited, and killed due to greed, hatred, and ignorance be free of suffering. May all the nets, hooks, blades, projectiles, traps, snares, cages, pens, tanks, lethal restraints, saddles, reins, prods, bait, poison, and all instruments used to harm, exploit, and dominate our dear animal friends be forever abolished. May all human and non-human sentient beings live together in harmony, peace, equanimity, and achieve perfect enlightenment quickly. May we all experience happiness, safety, freedom, and animal liberation in this very lifetime. We now recite the dedication of merit to our dear animal friends. Throughout our many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue we have accomplished, including this aspiration for peace, and all that we will ever attain, this we offer for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends. May suffering, exploitation, and unnecessary death be decreased for every being, while wisdom, bliss, and compassion increase in this and every future life. May we clearly and instantly perceive the plight of our dear animal friends with the urgency and seriousness they deserve, and our every action leads them to complete liberation. May we quickly attain enlightenment and work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Thank you, Yolanda. That's a very nice comment. And thank you, everybody, for joining us here live and helping share our pages. And I know a lot of folks who tune in here live donate on a semi-regular basis, and I really appreciate that. That really helps our residents here and helps our sanctuary grow, help the temple grow, and help us be a better example of how our world should be. Let's start our quick tour. Here's Lucy. That little echo that happens here when I switch my microphone. I'm gonna go in here, see if any of the rats are awake, which they're not. That's where they sleep. I don't know if you can see their little rat tail sticking out. How about Sequoia? There she is. I don't think you can see her, but him, Sequoia's over there. These all our pigeons. And we don't come in here very often, so I wanted to kind of share. This is the area that needs to get cleaned out today. All the pigeons are super happy. Oh, look. Let's see if we can see. Here's FP. Where are you going, FP? He's a little brown pigeon flying around. He's, of course, the first pigeon resident of the Animal Liberation Temple. Are you enjoying it? Having fun with all your friends there? I love their little swing. And all the Cornishes in Cornwall Corner. Your set is pretty muddy. Here's Lucy, who decided to come follow me out. Come on, Lucy. This is the medical building where, because of the cold weather, the tortoises have been hanging out in here. Hi, tortoises. That's a heat lamp they have right there. Not really a lamp, but a heater. They all like to congregate over there by the heater. Right. As you can see, that is the pond. It's full. If you folks remember, that pond used to be a lot lower, and it's kind of pretty much full now. Right. And there's Harriet. Oh no, this is Priya. Priya? Harriet. Priya. Hi, Priya. We got Sabrina May coming over here. There's Harriet. Hi, Harriet. You enjoying your little house? And Dora again in here. I think last time we checked on Dora, she was in here. She likes to spend time in there after she eats breakfast. Other hens. And Wendy, the guinea fowl. Hi, Wendy. And our duck friends like staying up late. Mr. Black is back there. I don't know if you can see him, but he's dust bathing. Love to see that happening. Very natural thing for chickens to be able to do. Here's Jax, the famous Jax. And Hard One. Not Hard One, I'm sorry. Magnus. Hi, Magnus. This is Hard One. Hi, Hard One. All right, so that's a quick tour of almost everybody. Hi, Priya. All right. That was our quick tour. What are you doing out here, Lucy? Oh, I let you out, didn't I? Come on. Yeah, very chatty ducks. I do not have fruit trees nearby. I really wish I did. It's one of the things I'd like to plant. Oh, good morning, Gabriella. So good to see you joining us here live. I really appreciate it. Just checking the messages, making sure I didn't see anything, miss anything. Well, thank you everybody for joining us again here at the Dobutsu Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends. Please share this live stream as well as our posts on Facebook, Instagram, all our social media. Reach out, contact us. That really helps. All those things help our algorithm. If you're local, please come by and volunteer and help out. If you are not local, just sharing our pages is actually the best thing and the most helpful thing posts can do for us. If you are in a place where you can financially support, we greatly appreciate that. Um, However, again, I'd like to mention that just kind of helping share our message, talk about our dear animal friends, not just here but all over the world. That's really what we want to accomplish. What we really hope to accomplish is animal liberation for our dear animal friends and liberation for all. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful week.